I just want to take a couple of minutes to share a testimony of the greatness of our God. You know, a couple of years ago, my little daughter, she's my eldest daughter, came to my wife and said, "Mom, I don't have a friend at school." My wife just said, let's just pray and ask the Lord that He will send you a friend that you can enjoy it at school and somebody that you can have fellowship with. And you know what? The next day, there's a new girl in school. It was a small town, but here's a new girl in school. So my daughter just keep on talking about this girl and talking about this girl. And then we organized that she could come and stay over at our house, probably a week after that. And while she was there at our house, I didn't know her from anywhere, but I just told my wife, I don't know why, but there's a strange connection between me and this girl. They were about 12 years old at that stage. And I said, there's a connection between me and this girl, and I just can't put my finger on it, but something's going on. I asked the Lord concerning it, didn't get an immediate answer. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I was just walking up and down in our lounge area and just praying for this girl constantly and praying and asking what's going on. I couldn't put my finger on it. So now I'm going to rewind the story 7 years before that. So 7 years before that, we were in a bad situation where there was a friend, and I don't want to reveal too many things, but a friend of mine whose wife passed away, and it was just a horrible time. We prayed for her, nothing happened, and it was just a bad space that I was in at that stage. But during that time, somebody of our youth contacted us, actually contacted my wife and said that there's a girl, she's 5 years old, she got hold of her grandmother's pills and drank the pills. She's in the Nelspruit Hospital in the ICU. She's on machines, and they are going to switch off the machines. I think she was declared brain dead at that stage, but the next day they're going to switch off the machines. And would I go and pray for her? So my wife told me, you better go and pray for this girl. I said, I don't think I'm at this space in my life at the moment. I don't have any strength in me. I don't feel like it. I don't want to pray for anybody at that stage. But my wife said, you better go. So I said, all right, got in my car, drove to Nelspruit, walked into the ICU, asked, where's this girl? I didn't even know her name. So where's this girl that drank the pills? And they said, here she is. I just walked up to her bed, said, I speak life over you. And I say, they will switch off these machines. You will wake up, no brain damage, and you will be perfectly well. And I turned around and I walked out. Literally, that was my prayer. So I did it, walked out. The next day, they switched off the machines. This girl sat up straight and she was perfectly normal. All right, praise the Lord. But now, back to the story 7 years later. Here's this girl in our house, and I'm asking, why is there a connection between me and this girl? I've never seen her, don't know anything about her. So she's walking with my eldest daughter at school. They've got athletics, and they start talking about things that happened in their lives. And long story short, she said there was a time where she was basically dead. And my wife heard about the story, and she started asking her questions and said, what happened? She said, I got a hold of my grandmother's pills and I drank it. And my wife said, when was it? She said, it was 7 years ago. I was 5 years old. She asked, from what town did you come from? And it was from a specific town where that girl that I prayed for came from, went to Nelspruit. And she said, in what hospital did you go and lie? She said, in Nelspruit in the ICU. So long story short, here God brings over our path a girl that I prayed for 7 years before that, didn't even know her name, prayed for her. God raised her up miraculously. And my little daughter prays for a friend to come, and that very same girl ends up in our house, healed, and I could share the gospel with her. I could say, let me tell you the story. I was the one that prayed for you in that ICU when they wanted to switch off those machines, and God raised you up. And it was in my lowest state where God did that. You know, God knows what's going on in your life. God knows every circle. You don't might not understand things at that moment, but later it will make sense. So there's things that we do that we don't realize the impact that it is doing. Whatever you do, there's always an impact, whether you see it or if you don't see it. Just know that God is at work. And I want to encourage you, just go out, pray for people, minister to people. God works. He's faithful. I mean, here's that girl. I could share the gospel with her. I could tell her, I've called you by name. You are mine. God says you are his. And she just sat with big eyes, gave her heart to the Lord, and I could minister to her the good news of the gospel. I hope this blessed you and encouraged you to go and help people, minister to people. We serve a God that knows so much more than what we know, and he knows in your weakness, his strength is made perfect. Bless you all.